GM, everyone. I'm Peter from Near Week, the official weekly Near Protocol newsletter, and I'm here with another banger of a Near Protocol town hall. Near is the blockchain for AI, powering the agentic future and the user-owned internet. AI is the front end, blockchain is the back end, and Near is the middle, integrating all of it. It's a unified crypto user experience. It's been chain abstracted. It's powered by decentralized AI that runs on one of the most resilient and scalable blockchain infrastructures out there, the Near protocol. As always, our first presenter is Illia himself, who's going to share a lot of exciting updates from ETH Denver and the overall Near AI ecosystem. Illia, I am going to bring you on stage. Welcome, sir. Hope you're feeling better. Let me know when to change the next slide. It's all yours.
Sounds good. Thank you for having me. Hope everyone's doing well. Yeah, I'm still catching up on some of my voice, but let's keep going. Let's go to the next slide. Yeah, so we had a pretty strong presence in Denver, effectively kind of showcasing what Near ecosystem has been up to from Redacted. And then we had kind of few big announcements from Near AI side. Specifically, we brought together a whole host of partners for what we call Open Agent Alliance, the goal of which is really to make sure there is kind of a whole stack of agentic developers, frameworks, hardware, hosting, and on-ramps, off-ramps, and kind of everything in between agent to really power kind of this open alternative in user-owned AI. And the vision that I've been talking a lot about, right, of like what the future will look like with agents, agentic internet, and agents doing everything. So there's kind of a role for each partner in that, and the idea is to tie it all together. That can be powering the new way of doing commerce. We also released the Agent Interaction and Transaction Protocol, AITP, and I'll talk about it in a bit. Show must go on. So we have another host of events in San Francisco. Near AI is hosting Useful Agents Hackathon as Electric, as well as CryptoSoul is hosting Open Source AI Summit with some prominent AI folks. And then a week after that, we're going to have NVIDIA GTC, where we're going to be kind of to a broader audience now presenting the decentralized confidential machine learning that we've been working on, and really introducing people to kind of why this is solving a lot of the problems in broader AI ecosystem, like access to energy for data centers, latency, security, safety, etc. So stay tuned for that. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So just to remind, the paradigm shift we're in process is going from kind of you as a user navigating across aggregators that effectively became this kind of the interfaces for the internet, right? Be that Google's and Facebook's or Amazon's and DoorDash's. And they themselves are still siloed apps, right? They kind of are competing. They're not like really knowing everything about you. They're trying to extract information to kind of both give you a better product, but also make more money off you. So it's a very weird like dynamic. And what we already see is we go into a world where agents interacting with different applications and websites and on your behalf, right? You kind of command or request what you want, and these agents are going and interacting with these apps on your behalf. But kind of this future looking forward is where your AI assistant is effectively your interface, and then your AI assistant is than going and talking with agents on the other side, right? Be that other people's agents or other organizations, restaurants or factories, like, or pharma companies. It can go in directly, communicate with them, negotiate the outcome you want, and deliver it. So that's a paradigm shift that's happening. This is not fast, but at the same time, it's not a very slow transition either, because of how backward compatible all of this is, right? Agents always can work with existing kind of natural language communication and websites. Next slide. So that's why it's really important that these agents are on your side, right? And so what do we mean by that? Well, we want to make sure that they're verifiable and confidential, that the data that they capture and use is not really going everywhere, right? It's not leaking to some third parties that are going to use it to monetize or uh, for other nefarious purposes. You need a way for agent developers to monetize this, though, because like we do want to create an economic incentive for people to build these agents and the way to discover each other and interact with each other, so that as you want to do some function, you can find a specialist agent which is able to do it, or which has access to physical means or some kind of private context around that. And you obviously want them to transact in crypto and fiat and kind of acts as this global liquidity layer. So kind of that's what really we've been building across Near ecosystem to really enable all these properties. Next slide. So kind of from an agent side, right, we want a platform where we can host these agents in confidential and secure way. Some way where user data and shared memory, agent can discover each other, and then you have agentic payments to really facilitate this commerce. Next slide. So first piece is this decentralized confidential machine learning. So this is really enabling how can we have end-to-end privacy for users while also ensuring that the execution is correct. And we're using trusted execution environments that are now possible together with NVIDIA GPUs and Intel CPUs. And together they offer this we have this abstraction working together with Fala called confidential VM that allows to have effectively a way for user to ensure that they have an encrypted channel with individual computer, individual confidential VM, and through that, ensure that only that VM sees data, not even the whoever provided hardware or developers or providers of the system are able to access it. This also applies both to kind of just LLM inference as well as running a whole agent code, right, which is some CPU load with some memory context, etc. All of that is facilitated through on-chain registry and payments, as well as there's a protocol proof of response to ensure liveness. So that's kind of a fundamental, you can think of this like a decentralized confidential EC2, right, where not even the hardware providers are able to see what's happening inside. Anybody, over time will be able to join this network to provide their hardware as part of this. Anyone who has the right hardware, worth noting, and they're going to be effectively providing the compute into this confidential cloud. Next slide. So then on top of this, we're building the hosting platform, right? So, EC2 is useful, and there's a lot of use cases like shade agents where you can have kind of a pretty dynamic set of things you want to build inside it. But on top of this, we effectively have a Vercel for agents, right? So you can deploy easily agents. You can fork them here. You can set up them to react on different events. No DevOps, no kind of maintenance. And so it's actually really exciting to see the growth of the number of agents between obviously hackathon and the fact that there's like a way now to do no code agent generation there's been a lot of people kind of pushing agents. Next slide. I mentioned agent interaction transaction protocol. So if we have the EC2, right, we have the Vercel. Now we need to actually, these agents to access each other, right? So this is the HTTP for AI or AITP. And this is really about the protocol of how multiple agents can kind of communicate together, exchange both natural language, kind of in the normal way we talk right now, as well as exchange payment requests, data requests, cryptographic signing, and other things. So it's really about kind of structuring some of the specific communication interactions. Again, for those who are familiar with HTTP, the majority of the website of Exchange, right, is like just HTML, kind of dynamically rendered by browser, but there's headers which are giving specific functions, right, providing authentication and other functions. So this is kind of the same idea. It is an open protocol. We are very open for contributions as it's kind of getting extended. It works with, there's kind of section describing how it works with Anthropic model context protocol as well. So very excited to see more people contributing and extending it as well. Next slide. So this is a demo of kind of how these things work together. So there's a specialized agent that is specializes in helping purchasing audio hardware. And the idea that, again, you as a user don't need to actually talk directly to agents. You can, and there's ways to do that, but you'll be talking to your Near, to your assistant, which can be, either near.ai assistant or white labeled by different applications. And you'll be talking to this assistant, you'll be kind of providing like what, the intent you want, and it may try to respond directly, or if it doesn't have answer or cannot do this action itself, it will create so-called subthread to talk to the SoundSage agent in this case to get actual kind of SKUs for the products. So this is using AITP exchanges effectively data requests, information. When you choose a product, right, that is a reply to SoundSage agent, which then asks for an address where to ship. And the idea here is that your assistant effectively hides this interaction with the SoundSage agent or any other agent. And so you don't actually need to know that's happening. And your assistant may then respond to SoundSage's request directly, like, for example, address or other things, if it already knows the answer. And then finally, there's a payment request, which again, if you authorize your assistant, maybe like under some amount, it will just pay that itself as well. So you can kind of have like your assistant becoming this interface that communicates with other agents, and you just have this high level kind of choices that at what level you're comfortable with navigating. Let's go to the next slide. So yeah, just kind of a visual example. By headphones, assistant knows your favorite color, so it asks to find agents who can help with that, and then can be effectively selecting options or filtering or re-ranking them based on, again, the private knowledge of the user. Next slide. So this is another demo of, as I mentioned,
ladies and gentlemen,
maybe turn on the audio.
The agent
like we will need a lot of agents, and most people don't know how to code. The good thing is now machines do code, and this is example where you can effectively provide a type of agent you want to build, an agent, like what you want the agent to do, and it will actually go read documentation and figure out how to write the code for the agent, and then let you interact with it. Test it, and you can continue to refine how it works. So it's a no-code agent builder that allows really to kind of quickly build up agents for different use cases, right? So in this case, it shows kind of how to build an agent that is going to get prices from CoinMarketCap, and it will ask for the API key, and then we'll effectively write all the code to access API, parse it, requests, and map the information in the proper way. So kind of just shows you that, as things are evolving, when we say like, hey, there are going to be trillions of agents, a lot of them will be effectively generated on the fly or for specific tasks, and really going to be just linking, is your system needs specific functions, linking that with the with different operations. So yeah, so it kind of responded with, what's the agent name going to be, description, as well as a plan. And so it's writing code right now. So this is the code of the agent, and it already published it on the hosting platform as well. And so it's asking for API key. The interesting thing is, and right now you still need to do manual API key, but I think if we go to the next slide, yeah, you'll see. Let's go to the next slide. Yeah, so this is another demo of actually agent going directly and using the browser. So kind of I mentioned, right? Like we're in this transition where agents are effectively using browsers, using apps and websites and APIs on your behalf. So this example where you're like, hey, I want to book an Airbnb in Denver, and it actually opens up the Airbnb website and goes through the steps of booking it. And it shows you kind of its process and how it's thinking, so you know what's going on. But you can actually see all of those pieces fitting together where you effectively tell your AI assistant to do something. It may find an agent already who knows how to do that, and may route this to this browser automation, right, cloud operator, or it may like build its own agent where a cloud operator actually gets API key from the website and then leverages that, because it's like a continuous process and you want a way faster performance, right, and like updates and information to flow in. So you can have all of those pieces dynamically interacting with each other and providing novel experiences just from a simple prompts of the user, right? Like, hey, I want to update my spreadsheet, every morning with recent information on the market, do an analysis on how this is going on, and pull that into a report in this PDF, for example, right? So all of that can be built out of a few of these agents. Cool. Let's go to the next slide. Yeah, so there's a bonus, which is Vadim built this DeFi agent, which kind of showcases this idea of fully autonomous kind of financial agents as well, where you can, in this case, it doesn't have a UI, you just talk to it on Twitter, and it lets you deposit deposit some money, it invests them into a variety of tokens through the intents, and then 6 hours later liquidates it and sends you back the money, right? So the idea here to really show that like fully autonomous agent, it effectively doesn't require you to know anything. You just send the money to it, and then it kind of evaluates what the market looks like and decides how to invest that. And then again, Near Intents uses this unified liquidity layer to really provide the trading across all of these assets, right? You're able to trade across every chain, right? Like it supports already. So really exciting, kind of shows you what's possible. Just like a more practical example of this would be, something that rebalances your lending positions across different lending markets. You can have, obviously index funds doing this. You can have something that continuously maintains like a target, lending rate on lending market. Like for example, you put near, you borrow, or like you put linear, you borrow near, you lock it into linear, and you put it back. And then if the rate's becoming too high, it can unroll that. So you can have like an agent that just continuously rolls it and unrolls it based on where the market for the rates is. So all of those different functionality is effectively available now to build. Next slide. So all of this has really been building on all kind of the pieces we have in Near as a blockchain for AI, right? So a blockchain that truly scales and supports building this agents and kind of really easy access to users. We have the chain abstraction that allows agents and users to really access any assets and any applications across different chains. We have intents that unifies liquidity and makes it really easy for this to happen. So like you don't really need to figure out other chains if you're building like the agent before. You just kind of interface, like use the same interface for trading through intents for any asset. And you have this private confidential machine learning infrastructure with TEs to really enable private verifiable compute, which also useful for generic execution like shade agents provide. So all of this is kind of how these pieces fit together, powering this future we're building. And kind of now you can see a very specific examples how all of this is executing. We're going to continue building this up, and actually, I think Oleg is presenting kind of how this is going to look like from the consumer side, as well as we're going to be showing more how like we think some of the things continue evolving, right, as AI becomes smarter. But if you go to the next slide, I just want to kind of finish on this thought that this is a, I think, New York Times article just came out, an opinion piece, but it's a very much shared opinion by a lot of people in AI industry and kind of San Francisco that we are pretty close to state where it is effectively AGI, right? It is able to do any, at least digital task, and has like enough cognitive ability to make decisions, given the proper context and given the proper information. And so this is a very kind of different innovation from the ones we had before, right? This is not traditional kind of, hey, this is a new platform, it's going to take some time to adopt, etc., because it's able to talk in natural language, it's able to communicate in exactly the same way. And so the adoption of this will be faster, but it's still going to take time, and kind of the exact shape and scope of this will be different. So either way, I would say like this is, I would say it's coming. I think we all need to kind of adjust our expectations. If you still think this is like very far away, this is not. And so within that, there's a very clear, hey, this is going to be a sweeping wave that is going to change how we do effectively everything. And so that's why like the urgency for user-owned AI is there, because you don't want this to be controlled by a single company, right? And this is going to be very scary if this is actually how it's going to end up. So that's why we're building near.ai. This is kind of why our go-to-market is very much through the agents and agentic network to really put the product in everybody's hands while kind of creating this peer-to-peer network of agents and really kind of providing everyone their own, focused on their own side assistant. And at the same time, kind of coordinating more and more open source development of these models and kind of improvements to these models. So thank you. I think it's the last slide. And yeah, hopefully if you missed all of the updates from last week, this gives you a good idea. And then a few other folks will showcase different, more detailed aspects of that. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on, Illia. Get well soon, and bless you for the sneezing. Super interesting to see the blockchain for AI coming to life with all these very specific experiments and examples of agents that work on the Near blockchain. So everyone keep an eye out on what Near AI will be shipping. The speed of shipping is lightning fast these days. Really bullish on what's to come. So next up, we have Kendall from Proximity. I'm gonna add you to the stage, Kendall, and it's all yours.
All right. Thanks, Peter. 1 second while I share my screen here. All right. Oh, not that. There we go. Hey, everyone. My name is Kendall. I'm from Proximity, and we are going to talk through Basically a concept that builds on top of a lot of what Illia just presented, particularly hosting agents in a private and verifiable way. And what we call this is shade agents. So before we get into what shade agents are, let's just recap a little bit the state of agents. It's obviously no news to most folks that there are a lot of exciting developments, both in the Web 2 side of agents with increased capabilities, better tool use, more functionality. And then even in the Web 3 side, we've seen a lot of frameworks get some attention. We've seen some really cool experiments like Fresa, which is a little more interactive. And the very beginnings of agents that can actually do things with projects like Clanker, which lets you kind of request to create tokens. But I think what we haven't really seen yet is the sort of in Web 2 or in Web 3 is anywhere close to the full capabilities of agents. And primarily, it should be agents that you can rely on to actually go out in the world, especially the digital world, and do things on behalf. Like basically these agents should be capable of executing nearly any task on your behalf, and you should be able to trust them to do so. And we don't really have this yet, but we believe that we are very, very close, as in we're going to see this almost immediately. So there's a couple of reasons that we don't really have what I would call true autonomy. So one of the first ones, particularly in crypto, is actually in giving these agents keys that both they control and also that they won't lose. And primarily that they won't lose to potentially attackers, but also that they won't lose to just the shutting down of their hardware. We see a lot of agents today that are starting to use things like trusted hardware or TEEs, but what we haven't seen is them being able to jointly manage keys in a reliable way. Fortunately, this is what we are aiming to solve with chain signatures, which basically can give agents keys that they are able to effectively control temporarily as long as they're running the right code and following the rules of a smart contract, which we believe is the right solution. So yeah, getting into some of these other concepts that truly autonomous agents need, we need to be able to verify their full code and ideally even model, kind of similar to how we can verify the code of smart contracts today through something like Etherscan. We also need uptime guarantees, which Illia touched a lot on, and how we're trying to solve this with proof of response. We believe we also need smart contract guardrails to kind of keep these agents doing the things that you expect them to do with no possibility of kind of going off the rails. And then, of course, we need these agents to be able to access basically anything on the internet, any type of data, and they should also be able to access any type of compute or pay for that compute if necessary. And then finally, they need privacy assurances. So we're attempting to address all of this with what we call shade agents, which we believe are actually really the first truly autonomous agents. And importantly, particularly for us in crypto, ones that can be non-custodial, and they also can interact with any chain that currently exists or really will exist as long as we support the right signature schemes. So how do they work? So this is what we call the shade agent stack. Basically, there's two major components here. It's this worker agent that's going to be running in this trusted execution environment, the secure hardware, and then it's going to be a smart contract. There's basically a tight coupling between this worker agent and this smart contract. So the worker agent is what you could think of as a typical agent today. It will likely generate a task either through an LLM or through some type of user request. It will then access some off-chain state or data, or even on-chain state or data, and it'll have the flexibility to use any method it needs to in order to do that. And then it will decide to take some type of action, in this case, on-chain. So it'll then basically interact with the smart contract to actually take that action. So first, it will have to register with the smart contract and prove that it's running the correct code. And this is how we basically extend the kind of trust minimization of a smart contract to this off-chain compute, where you can verify what's happening in a smart contract and know that that's the code that's deployed on-chain and you're interacting with. We want to extend that same guarantee to the worker agent. So the worker agent registers successfully with the smart contract. Once it's done that, it can then basically access protected functions where it can request to send transactions from the smart contract. So this is where the smart contract uses chain signatures to actually sign transactions using keys that are basically controlled only by the smart contract. So this little detail is actually really important because what it means is that multiple instances of worker agents can control the same set of keys, but only if they prove that they're running the correct code. And this actually solves for what we see is like one of the biggest limitations with these crypto agents is that if you're running a single key within a single trusted execution environment on a single worker, if for whatever reason this environment goes down and that memory is lost, that means all of the funds attached to the key are lost, which is unacceptable for what we think are the most exciting use cases. Basically, there's execution use cases that these agents are capable of. So really, really important detail there. But basically, to recap on this worker agent is able to work with the smart contract, or the set of worker agents are able to work with the smart contract to sign transactions for any chain that exists. So just to give a different view into how this works, this worker agent is deployed. And again, this can be anyone who sees this open source code that encompasses this worker agent that will deploy on this trusted hardware. They can do a couple of things on the Gnear account, make sure that they're able to send Gnear transactions. Then they go through this registration process, at which point they're basically submitting this proof that they're running the right code to this smart contract, which will make sure, okay, cool, I have this code hash. This is the expected code hash of the worker agent. It's submitted to me, a new instance has submitted to me proof that it's running this code hash. Great, now it's approved. And then finally, the worker agent can basically send any type of transaction request that it wants to the smart contract. Depending on the use case, the smart contract may also put a lot of guardrails in place for the actions that the worker agent can submit. So we could imagine if this is, say, like a lending agent, like a total replacement for, or like a new way to interact with these approved lending protocols, then in the smart contract, there can be basically the construction of a transaction to Aave, but without any of the details of like what to do, what loans to take out, what APRs to target, any of that. And the worker agent can then submit this request to basically interact with Aave. So even if the worker agent is compromised, the smart contract will make sure that the request can only go to Aave, so and won't be able to result in, say, like a withdrawal of funds to an arbitrary address. So basically, the smart contract can protect against even the worst case compromises of the worker agent. So this is a look at how like current basically agents are using keys. It's basically a single key. So what this means is like if this is why we have this diagram here. If this key agent it goes offline for any reason, it can no longer basically use the keys that users were storing funds on, which is just not practical. Like it will not work and will likely lead to really, really terrible scenarios. And that's why basically our goal is to enable, if a key goes offline for any reason, then anyone can basically spin up a new instance of it, prove it's running the right code, and then basically get the system up and running again, which means that we remove single points of failure and actually create true autonomy for these agent systems. So this is getting a little into the weeds on exactly how we do it today. So we've been working with a partner that's also helping on the agent hub and the agent cloud called Fala, who's probably the most sophisticated group when it comes to trusted execution environments today, in order to basically host these agents on this trusted hardware. So it's actually a pretty simple process, and I'll show you a link you can go to. It's basically near.ai/shade, where you can actually see all of this example code and get your own worker agent created. So here's an example of basically how we generate a key from basically the hardware key that the worker, this worker agent is running in. We basically use that key plus some entropy to create an ephemeral key that basically only exists in the memory of this worker agent. So basically what this means is this worker agent can register with this ephemeral key, use that key for authentication when it wants to access these kind of methods that only a registered agent can access. But then if for whatever reason this worker agent is turned off, or if new code is deployed, basically someone's trying to change the code that's running there, so it should no longer be registered, this key will be lost forever, which means that the worker agent has to re-register, which means they have to prove they're running the right code again. So we kind of protect against some attack vectors there. And then this is how the worker agent will basically prove that it's running this correct code hash. It actually generates a remote attestation, includes that code hash in the remote attestation, and then it'll call the contract with this kind of register function. So here you can see this is basically how we can create these protected methods. So you can have multiple instances of these worker agents that are running, say, the code hash A, and they'll basically call, say, a protected method. It'll first check whether or not they are registered, and it'll reject them if they're not registered. And then here you can see you can actually have multiple code hashes in a single contract. So what this means is you could have a system that has multiple different workers that use different, that are basically completely different, and they can work together as part of a single system. So this one smart contract, you could have workers that fetch lending rates. You could have workers that actually execute the rebalancing transactions. You could have workers that they pay off all the loans and then withdraw, and all of them can work in the single system. And then anyone can basically participate to be a worker agent for any version of those agent types. So now getting back to the high level and why this is interesting. Well, we actually think there's some really, really exciting new design spaces that developers will be able to tackle. And we'll have actually some live examples of each of these over the coming, really couple of weeks. So the first one we think is really interesting is actually thinking about how these agents can act as core parts of DeFi protocols or applications. So if you think about your favorite DeFi protocol, there's a very good chance they actually have a critical function that some humans in the loop play. Think about like a lending protocol and how DAOs are actually extremely important for onboarding new collateral, setting rates, even offboarding collateral when things happen. We actually believe that agents can replace a lot of this work, if not all of this work, before too long. And we're excited to see, how developers are going to do this. So basically any protocol that needs humans in the loop, or particularly any protocol that needs off-chain data or different types of AI models to make decisions, can actually be augmented with this technology. And then you can even think about net new use cases for DeFi, where you can easily create markets for anything that's digital. I think there's a lot of opportunities around API usage. There's a lot of opportunities around paying for LLMs, accessing proprietary data. Really, we're only going to be getting to scratch the surface. So keep your eyes peeled for a new agent that we'll be deploying next week that will actually be trading on a very popular type of data today called mindshare data. So you'll see more of that from us next week. Another quite different area we actually think is going to be really exciting is this idea of headless UIs. So think about you discover things on Twitter all the time, particularly in crypto, that you can interact with. And usually that involves you going to a completely different site, completely different application, connecting your wallet, and then, engaging with that there. And if you want to share any of the things you've done on that site, you have to go back to Twitter. Hopefully they have some shareable content or way to interact and share it there. So it's like this pretty decoupled experience, even for things that are actually really reliant on the Twitter social graph. This actually is not really necessary, especially with what we've built in Shade Agents. You can actually bring a lot more of the crypto experience and build kind of entire applications that can be interacted with exclusively from Twitter. So we'll be showing more on this very soon. Here's an alpha leak. You can actually go get an idea of what this is going to look like, where you can see Matt Lockyer here actually interacted with this agent that is just going to give him an EVM account, and of course a Near account, and accounts on a bunch of other chains without him actually having to set it up in any way. So this is just the beginning. You'll see ways you can actually interact with this account entirely through the Twitter UI, and really any website that exists that an agent can listen to. That's really the only requirement here. And because it's running in a verifiable way, you can actually trust with a high degree of confidence that it's going to do the things that you ask it to do. And then last but not least, we're very excited about this idea of expanding the markets that exist. So a very simple idea here is imagining prediction markets. Right now, they're actually pretty limited because the resolution criteria you need to set for a market is so important, and people are actually really bad at setting very clear resolution criteria, which could lead to markets that can't be resolved. We actually expect that these agents can do a much better job of setting this criteria that's kind of absolutely resolvable, and then also helping with resolving the markets. And so we expect that this can actually help expand and open up a lot of new markets. You could imagine you have mindshare derivatives, data derivatives, attention markets, all types of different things. You could even imagine agents not only settling them, not only resolving them, but even trading on them in order to help kind of bootstrap liquidity in these long tail markets that aren't really possible today. And this is doable because these agents can access any public or even private using things like zk-TLS web data that exists in a verifiable way. All right. This is actually a redundant slide that I had from my talk at ETH Denver. You can see that online if you want to see a walkthrough of how to build a shade agent. But I'll leave it up to the next speaker here. If you want to learn more about shade agents, just go to near.ai/shade, and you can see a detailed document into how you can build one of these and get links to the code to actually build your own shade agent as quickly as possible. All right. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, please reach out if you have any interest in shade agents.
Thank you so much for coming today, Kendall. That was super, super interesting to hear about shade agents. Can't wait to see what comes next and what will be developed based on this. Next up, we got Aurora, and we have our very own Charlie, who will be presenting the latest updates from the Aurora team. Welcome, Charlie. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're not feeling as sick as everyone else is after ETH Denver. And the stage is yours.
I'm dead, but super bullish. Thank you so much, Peter. I'm super bullish on what we are building within the Near ecosystem, because it seems that everybody is trying to do what Near is doing, but separately, whereas Near is doing everything at the same time within the same ecosystem. So super cool. Let me share my slides. So basically, what the focus was for ETH Denver for us was to announce a virtual chain on autopilot. What does it mean concretely? It means that now every virtual chain that is deployed through auroracloud.dev is deployed in, let's say, 30 seconds. So RD Armor, head of product, doesn't need to go through the hassle of putting things together manually. Things are deployed in 30 seconds, and you have, for every chain that are deployed now, you have a block explorer allowing you to have a look in your chain, see the activities, etc. So let me gather a bit more why people are launching chains right now. So right now we've been seeing a great interest because launching a chain has been super difficult up until now, but it allows you to decentralize your product either through governance or by different means. It allows you to bring utility to your token. It can be through adding some burn mechanism to your chain or collecting some fees. It allows you also to build your own ecosystem. So let's say you have a big community and you want to capitalize on this user base. If you only have a token, it's super hard to capitalize on this except the price movement. Here you have you offer a full playground for people to build and enjoy different dApps within your ecosystem. Also, some of those projects have specific needs regarding their own chain that they can't find either launching through a typical EVM chains, such as Ethereum, etc. And so they come to us for those chains. And to end, two other ones. The first one is expand the revenue stream. I was mentioning before about collecting fees. This is something that is a great interest for any project. And lastly, something we've been seeing specifically with RWA is anything regarding compliance. Having your own chains allows you to decide on your own on what kind of address are able to interact with your chain. So you can whitelist your chain, have some specific gas rules, etc. Let me go to the next one. We've been seeing at ETH Denver, everyone's launching a chain. So everyone who's been a dApp is now launching a chain. So we've been seeing Galaxy, we've been seeing Uniswap with Unichain, and last year we've been seeing Inc. And so far, they've all been using the same kind of solution that are OP-Stack, Arbitrum Orbit, but the issue is that they're all using the roll-up technology, which comes with a bit of some issues, and we've been hearing some great feedback from people that app chains are not that interesting because they lack of built-in infrastructure, which means that when you launch your L2 with any of the other providers, you need to go out and integrate an Oracle. It costs money. You need to know the right person. Integration cost. So I was mentioning integrating an Oracle costs some money. Integrating a wallet costs some money. High operational cost. We've been hearing that around to operate a blockchain, it costs you for a basic chain around 250K per year. So all those are big problems for founders that are looking to go fast, cheap, and test out new ideas. And thirdly, fourthly, we have centralized sequencer, which is a limit. From what we've seen, we are the only one who provide decentralized sequencers, which makes it the most decentralized solution right now in the market. There is no pre-built dApp within the ecosystem, and ultimately, as I was saying, it grows the time to market for your own chain. So the fix that we have is the virtual chain, where as of next week, you can deploy for free and in 1 minute your own chain. So you can go in, try it out. You have full customization on it. So you have a token, let's say on Ethereum, that's already available. You can use it as base token for your own chain, which this is not provided by some other solution right now in the market. Also, we're able to bring EVM compatibility within Gnear. Everybody, specifically in the AI space right now, talking in Denver, wants to build on Gnear. Some of them don't want to go through learning Rust and prefer to build either on Aurora mainnet or launch their own chain on Gnear. Also, we get all the shared infrastructure with Gnear. So we shared all the validators from Gnear, all the technology advancement for Gnear. We're researching right now the great work from Kendall's team regarding Shade Agent and seeing how those could contribute to our virtual chain founders. Also, something huge, there's cross-chain DEX, a DEX engine, which is called Near Intent, which is integrated with every chain that we launch, that allows you to basically onboard users super easily, onboard liquidity, and allows them to exchange their own token with any token in the market. Then there is a SEX withdrawal integration. We call it, Basically, we allow it, we call it forwarder. And what it enables you to do is withdraw stable coins for any of the biggest exchange directly to your chain. Whereas normally you need to jump through some hoops if you want to withdraw your cryptocurrency from centralized exchange. Here you can do it from the first block. And lastly, hands-on support, go-to-market support. We've been working hard with every team in terms of helping them for their own product, how they position themselves in the market, how they plan to grow. And lastly, it allows us to add a bullish news to those roadmaps from teams, because sometimes they limit themselves with a product or with a community, but they can go even at an even faster pace and think about the whole ecosystem. So we are launching 1,000 chains in 2025. As of now, we launched around 69 chains. It's what we were planning for Q1. I'm not going to say around. We launched even more of those chains because we had such an interest in the 1 trillion agent hackathon that we had demand for over 40 chains. So we're working with each of those chain founders to deploy as fast as possible. So what we want people to do basically is focus on their product, their community, not on the infrastructure. As Alex says, Alex is our founder. He's been building infrastructure for 10 years. We understand the complexity of it. So we've packaged it in a way where it can be picked by anyone and deployed in 1 second. But something more is coming. So right now we're focusing on, this is just a Q1 roadmap for Aurora Cloud Console. So we're focusing on some small automation within the console that will allow us to spend more time innovating with our Cloud Console and our virtual chain, rather than doing some manual work. So right now we made all chain instantly deployed, but soon we're going to integrate, as I was mentioning, this tool called Forwarders that allows you to withdraw stablecoin from some of the major centralized exchange. This is going to be deployed from the first block. Then we're working also on integrating near intent from the first block, allowing anyone to exchange and swap cryptocurrencies between some of the major blockchain to their own chain. Also, we're working on something that would allow people to do some customization around their own chain. So you can think about making a the gas collected burn automatically. You can allow people to farm the fees collected by the chain, etc. Sky's the limit. And lastly, some of you know about Trisolaris. I was farming Trisolaris 3 years ago. It was great. It's coming back. So you're going to be able to deploy in one click Trisolaris in any of those chains. So here you go. You have a full infrastructure built chain for you, available for everyone. So something that you can do is you can start and deploy your own chain at auroracloud.dev. And the feedback I got from ETH Denver is that our solution has great product market fit in what builders are looking for, which is an easy, cheap, and quick way to deploy their own chain. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm super glad to be here. Talk to you soon.
Thank you so much for coming, Charlie. Great to hear all the updates. I hope you're doing well after ETH Denver. Can't wait to see more virtual chains launching on Near. Next up, we got Stephanie to hear a little bit more about how it all went down at ETH Denver. Stephanie, stage is yours.
Thanks so much, Peter. Appreciate it. Let me just share my screen and we can get the ball rolling. All right, cool. So ETH Denver was a blast. It was only last week, but I'm still catching up on sleep. So I'm going to break down real quick what our goals were, the engagement and traction, some of the speaker highlights, the attendance, survey results, and what worked well and what we can improve on. As mentioned during our pre-production overview, we really took a different approach where we opted out of sponsoring the main conference this year and instead went for a South by Southwest style where we took over one venue for 3 days and had a mix of content, everything from live whiteboard sessions to workshops to visionary talks. And I think we really hit the nail on the head, so to speak, because we knocked it out the park. Happy to say that we reached our goal of the 80 NPS score. We engaged over 500 attendees. Our share of voice was the only one we kind of fell short on, but I think it was just market sentiment. Things kept dumping, so that was kind of hard. And then we placed 10 Near speakers, including from NF and the ecosystem across the main and other side events. As you can see, we kind of were everywhere. We had our own event, but we were also participating in other events, whether as a co-host or an earned opportunity as a non-paying sponsor. The only one that we actually had to pay for was a base for ETH Denver 2025. So our main event was the Road to 1 Trillion Agents. We took over this venue for 3 days. The Road to 1 Trillion Agents content took place from 25th, 26th. We had a builder's brunch for the first hour of the day, and then we went into programming for about 3 hours of programming. We finally believe we found our sweet spot on being able to keep the information entertaining, engaging, and not lose too much of the audience. Happy to say that throughout both of those days, we had some notable partners, including BitGo, Coinbase, Fala, Hot Labs, Sweat, Bitsay, Open Gradient, Hashed, and Xtrace. On the third day was totally different type of content, which was really awesome. It was put together on by Founder Success. They had breakfast from 10 to 10:30. Programming took place from 10:30 to noon. Some notable partners for that day were Hyperbolic and Lava. And then we did a hackathon from 12 to 5. So for those that aren't familiar with what Agents Games Day was, it was pretty much we used some of the Near AI tech to teach people how to create their own agents in a gamified way. One of the cool things about events is that's pretty much a centralized focal point where we get all of our ecosystem in one place. And so Jared did a great job of capturing folks like Illia, Bowen, Kendall, and Alex to talk about their specific parts of the stack. He will be releasing those videos soon. And I mentioned earlier, we were really everywhere, everything from a founders and VC brunch to a Pantera happy hour to a builder showcase that was put on by Founders Success at the main ETH Denver venue. It was a lot of fun. I think we had the opportunity to really showcase what the Gnear ecosystem is all about. Speaker highlights. Really happy to say that we had a goal of 10 plus speaker placements. We went above and beyond that goal, and this year was the year that we actually had the most speakers at the ETH Denver main conference. So that's a big win for us. Illia took the main stage, Kendall was part of the panel, and Matt and Bowen had some solos talking about their particular areas of expertise. Here are some photos of the event of their sessions themselves. Illia took an opportunity to, when he announced the Open Agents Alliance, to also bring up some of the partners that have signed on to the alliance, which was a really cool show of community and the strength that Gnear has to bring people together. And then these are some screenshots of Bowen and Matt on their solos. These are some of the content captured during the road to 1 trillion agents. We have Pierre, we have Oleg, we have Alex, and then we have Mark kind of leading different discussions. Really good show, really engaging conversations. Attendance-wise, as I said earlier, our goal was to have 500 engaged attendees across all of our activations. Happy to report that we definitely hit that number. And again, we hit it out of the park. It was even higher than we expected. And then these are just some of the stats so that people are aware. One of the things that I really want to highlight that we haven't done before, at least for our shows, I know Founder Success has done it for some of their programming, is that we broadcasted to X. Happy to say that across both days, we had a total of about almost 20,000 views, which is a really nice way to engage with the community online for those that weren't able to be there in person. Survey results, as you guys know, we always push forth a survey post our events to make sure that we are listening to what the community wants, but also to see what's going well and what we can improve on. Happy to say we got about a 90% score out of the 22 recorded responses. And as you can see, pretty good mix of who was participating, everything from partners and staff to attendees. So not too much bias in place. And then describe Gnear in 3 ways. A lot of people liked the content, so they thought it was educational, informative, and useful. And then we asked, what was some of your favorite parts about the event? A lot of people like, again, the programming, they like the venue, the food. We always get compliments for our food, so big shout out to Kiana for that one. And obviously, last but not least, the networking opportunities. That being said, there's always room for improvement. So even though they like the networking opportunities, they kind of want more time or they want name tags. So we are going to try to figure out how to incorporate a way for people to know who they're talking to. I know there's some people like that, some people don't. So we're trying to find a sweet spot, and then also trying to figure out how to create more time for networking. Again, a lot of the cool stuff is the content, but a lot of people like to yap. So we're trying to find a way to please everyone. It's a bit tough, so we're working on it. And that's it for me. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Thank you so much for coming, Stephanie. Awesome to see all the things happening at ETH Denver, looking at the metrics and the attendance. It seems like you guys killed it once again. Can't wait to attend the next Gnear event. Next up, we have betvex, and since Owen won the main prize at the Redacted Hackathon, he has actually quit his job at DevHub and is now full-time. And today, I'm delighted to bring the CEO of betvex. His name is Ethan, and this is the first time we see him in the Gnear ecosystem. Ethan, stage is all yours. Thank you so much for coming today.
Hey, Peter, thank you. I'm coincidentally Owen's brother as well. But yeah, went via a few of the Gnear events. Yeah, actually killed it, had a great time there. But let's jump into it. So let me share my screen real quick. There we go. Right, so GM, thank you, Near Week, for inviting us. I'm Ethan, co-founder at betvex. So betvex, if you're not sure, is a community-powered esports betting platform that gives a Web2 experience using a backend powered by Near. We also distribute fees generated by the platform to the community, and we let its users decide how the platform evolves. So we're here because we're super excited to share that we've shipped our second iteration of the MVP, and we'll be opening up insider testing of betvex to a very exclusive number of participants. So where did betvex come from? After using esports betting platforms ourselves, we saw that esports, the websites, the betting platforms are taking fees of up to 10%, which is insane. I mean, in sports betting, it's usually around like 6 to 8%. And then with all these profits as well, they're going back to the executives, investors, and not to the community. So, and then even after speaking to esports fans, we actually realized that there was a much bigger problem at hand. So esports bettors, they actually hate using sports bookies. They have to scroll down. You have to go but just below darts and then above football to find esports. And esports fans identify themselves completely different to sports fans. So when they do use esports only betting platforms, they're not reliable, nor do they provide a strong user experience. We found that there are often no exotic bets. User accounts are often locked or frozen with little to no explanation. And if they're using a crypto-based platform, you need to create a wallet and then buy the gas token for that chain, which it's just a mare. So all fees generated always go back into the pockets of management, like we said, which just isn't the crypto way. So these problems are hence why we decided to build betvex. So when we started creating betvex, the first problem we wanted to solve was, as I mentioned, the absurdly high fees. We knew that we could do better than Web2 using blockchain by leveraging oracles, implementing a custom parimutuel betting system, which could lower these overhead costs and then bring down the fees to match sports betting odds. So to solve the inexistence of community around betting platforms, we wanted users to feel as if they're part of the platform and a part of the community, not just another user to take money from. To do this, we added functionality such that users can receive the fees that the platform generates, which for us at betvex is about 70%. Users can propose and vote on how the platform operates and mold it in a way that suits them, whether they want odds to be more competitive. They can decide, or they can decide how to spend the community treasury. You know, with governance, things are completely open. We also will offer those more niche exotic bets that our competitors do not, like, for example, betting on your favorite player on CSGO, getting, say, 10 kills in the final. We also have social login as well as login with Gnear, and we sponsor all gas transactions so we can onboard those Web2 bettors. And then to get to the meat of the presentation, we have a second iteration of the MVP, and we wanted to share what we've been building. So as I mentioned at the start, we're launching our first insider testing cohort. So why are we doing this? We're building something that thousands, then ultimately millions of people will be using. So we want to create a tight group of insider testers that can give feedback, helping us to create a platform that's easy and fun to use. So how will this process work? So the cohort, it'll be open for a short period of time, just 2 weeks. All you got to do is trial and then try and break the platform and then just provide any feedback via an easy form that we'll provide. And then finally, how do you get access? So we have a gatekeeper bot that you need to interact with to get access. So here's the QR code. Don't worry if you haven't scanned it. I'll be sharing it again in a few slides. And yeah, just as I mentioned before, like, do note we are keeping this purposely very limited. So do join before those spaces kind of fill up. So I'm going to share another screen and just to show you guys what we'd be testing. Here we go. Yeah, I think you guys can see that. So this is the platform, just a sneak peek. A few of the features to test. We have like our social login, and then of course like login with Gnear, where you can, I guess, you can get access to USDC via the testnet faucet. You can bet on esports games, obviously with all transactions fees covered by the platform. You can go via the Earn tab, you can buy VEX, swap it for USDC, and then stake in the platform here to receive the rewards that the bets, the odds generate. And then you can use the leaderboard as well, so you can see how your betting skills rank against your mates, or I guess your enemies. And then it's also mobile optimized. So do please try and use it on your mobile as well. Get that testing in there as well. So a few features that are coming that aren't on the platform already, but you can talk to and bet via betvex AI assistant on the website, and then also be able to directly bet from your Telegram and or your Twitter. And then lastly, here we go. How to get involved. So I mentioned some of those parts before. Do scan the QR code on the screen. We also have, for those on their phone, a link to the bot, or just go on your Telegram, search betvex_bot, and it should come up. And then I'm plugging it into the YouTube comments as well. So yeah, thank you guys for your time. Thanks, Near Week, and hit us up on Telegram or Twitter if you have any questions.
Thank you so much for coming, Ethan. Great to see all the projects you guys are building with betvex. And yeah, as you heard, Ethan, go sign up for the early testing. I think this sounds like a great opportunity. Exciting to see what you guys are building. Keep pushing it. Next up, we have Escobar from Ref Finance. Escobar, I'm bringing you on the stage. How are you doing, sir?
Hello. Doing good. Thank you, Peter. Cool. So a lot of people has been questioning why there's an announcement on during ETH Denver, Ref and Burrow will be merged to RIA. It's very simple. Ref and Burrow need better alignment with the current market situation, and it's need to be updated and aligned with the near narrative on building chain abstraction, also the AI. We have built our product around that, and it's currently work in progress. So that's kind of the background why we want to do it. And on the device side, liquidity is often trapped in a separated ecosystem. So how we can make it efficient, make sure that it can flow as easy as possible. Well, everything must be happen in just one single platform. Even these collaborations also happen through Satoshi protocol support with the Bitcoin assets that can be deposited directly. Then the product merge, people might question why product merge not happening right now. Yes, because it's aligned with the new token, and new token will play a big role in the ecosystem, in the RIA ecosystem. A new chapter on DeFi, streamline decentralized finance. Then we also tap into the Bitcoin, Gnear, and also the EVM ecosystem. We're gonna support most of the blue chip assets in the market. Make sure the liquidity pool is available, and how user can use RIA as the main platform to move from one to another chain as well. Supported aligning with the product like Omni Bridge will be supported on RIA directly. So on the RIA product roadmap is supporting various synthetic Bitcoin assets in LPS and as a collateral assets. Then the next things is the Ethereum and Solana pool will be highlight and more liquidity will come in. Also more new chain that probably attracted a lot of users currently in the market, like Bera and so on. Then restructuring the platform around the RIA token as a utility token. So there will be RIA, XRIA, and ORIA. XRIA will perform as a gas fee and a platform fee, while a RIA can be staked to earn XRIA, and the incentive token will playing around ORIA. Then the conversion will go back to RIA or XRIA, depends on the user's reputation. While we also offering various one-click vaults to support DeFi strategy that currently in the previous Ref versions, vaults is just bringing users to a different platform, directing the users to a different platform, go to the website directly. But with a vault strategy that we are developing right now, users can just do one click to utilize their assets. And last one is a margin trading for mainstream pool, as in BTC pool, Near pool, Ethereum and Solana pool. While currently margin trading, it's only live and available for the meme token pool, like a long Black Dragon and so on. On the token roadmap side, we have Ref Burrow merge announcement, and it has been completed. Then we also share the total token will be airdrop. Yeah, total tokens will be airdrop. Token allocation that will be airdrop for the community. That the criteria has been refilled as well. The next thing for us is the point system and the reputation system that will go live after TGE. So RIA airdrop 10% is the main allocation that will be distributed. Then the first criteria has been the O and the G. So it's basically the OG of Gnear that will be determined by the first time they interacted with either Ref and Burrow back then, and also how much volume that they have made in Ref and Burrow. But that will still ongoing until our point system go live. So before the point system go live, the O and the G will still keep running until we do the snapshot. The next thing is a point system. Point system will be built around the liquidity pool and also the all detail on the on-chain transaction. Also, there will be a community point system, which belong to those creators, content creators, those community members who like to amplify about RIA and Gnear. Then next thing is the reputation system with ORIA's yield. The last part is conversion of ORIA to RIA and XRIA. So it's just the first round of the airdrop that we revealed today. Yeah, that's all I can share, Peter. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much for coming, Escobar. Excited about the merger between Burrow and Ref, and excited to see where this merger takes RIA Finance. And everyone, make sure to check out that juicy airdrop. Sounds like you got something pretty nice lined up. So next presenter is project who's been building on Gnear for a while. Fair to say that DevBose is an OG within the community, and I'm excited to have them today to present DeFi shards. So without further ado, I'm going to bring you on stage, DevBose, and you can start sharing your screen. It's all yours.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me today. I hope I'm audible. So Yeah, so I'm here to, they've both been a community member of Near Protocol for a while and been building DeFi shards. And happy to come here and present what we have been building and at what stage we are right now. So we have a video prepared to display what DeFi shard means. We're loading that, I guess. So we'll just play that and I'll continue after that. Thank you. Thanks for watching that. So this is basically the idea of DeFi shards, that we're building token wrapped collectibles. And it's something that we have faced a problem as users ourselves when we were navigating the NFT space. And we've realized we can close the video. I think it's over. Yeah, thank you. So DeFi Shards is basically the brainchild of Mikikin and myself, who's been an active community member as well. And he's deep into DeFi, and I was deep into NFTs. And we're like, hey, let's find a crossroad where we can make NFTs more liquid, because I've been a collector for a while from different ecosystems. And the predominant problem that I'd observed was that most of these NFTs on a long enough time frame went to zero. Like they lost their value over time. I mean, we can blame to supply demand mechanics, game theory problems, because there's so much saturation of these NFTs that they can't, they can't manage their value in the market where there's not enough demand. And on top of that, one of the other problems that we identified is the lack of liquidity, because most of the liquidity is expected to arrive from outside. And if that's not available per se, even in the AMM pools, or let's say sufficient buyers, these NFTs are illiquid. So that's where the idea of DeFi shards came into being. And we're like, why Near? Because I've been a community member, I saw, try to understand the tech that Near has, and for developers as well. And we hired a team of devs and explained our idea to them that we want to build token wrapped collectibles on Near protocol, gave them the prototype. And it's been like 1.5 years. We've done like multiple stages of MVP, and right now we went to mainnet a few months back. And so what essentially DeFi Shards is, it's a platform that enables creators to launch token-backed collectibles. So what that means is you can pretty much pick any asset of your choice that's whitelisted on Ref Finance, and like let's say WBTC or Ethereum, Solana, Near, and you can launch a collection with a specific amount of that fungible asset locked within the NFTs framework. So what that does is, let's say an NFT collection gets sold out and it's being traded on the marketplace, but there's always a certain amount of fungible assets that locked within the NFT that is going to provide a threshold price. So what that does is it never allows a complete cascade of the value of the NFT. Like that can't go to zero, assuming that these tokens hold the value over time, as we've seen near Solana, Ethereum, or Bitcoin for that matter. We've seen that even though there's like ups and downs, but they tend to preserve the value over a long enough time frame. So this was the idea, and after doing some testing on testnet, like we just displayed the video in which you must have seen that was a testnet version of the NFT. The mainnet version is slightly different, but here's the website of DeFi Shards right in front of us. And so can we just pull the website of DeFi Shards? Yeah, perfect. So stay liquid and not illiquid. So that's our tagline. We'll scroll over a little bit below, and we can see that on the second page. Can we scroll down the website a bit? Yeah, so it's a one-stop DeFi X NFT platform, and we can clearly see that we are allowing creators to launch token-backed collectibles. So as I was just explaining, how this thing works is any creator, they can select backing of the asset, and they can launch a collection. And on the basis of that, now there is a dispersion of these collections in the marketplace, and we are planning to build more use cases for these existing NFTs. Like, I'll come to that after some time. Like, we just launched a collection which was a private mint. Due to market condition, we chose not to do a public mint, so we did a private mint but on mainnet. And through that, we basically showed to the Near community and the community leads. We started sending out those token-backed collectibles to everyone to gather feedback. So we'll just take a look around the website, and we will launch app. Can we go inside the website? Yeah, so that's how our interface looks like. There's like the top trending collections. For now, it's Underground Shard Society, which is a proposed collection that is to be backed by Bitcoin, and it will be a public mint for the community. The second one is Shard Squares. If you see a colored gradient square, that's what I'm going to explain next. So that's basically the collection that we have just created. On the top bar, we can see that there's like 4 components. One is DYOS, do your own shard, which is a suite that is yet to be built, but that's basically every user can pick and drop an image or a file and basically choose to create their own version of a tokenized DeFi shards on their own. This can't be sold on the marketplace. Like, for example, I created an AI image today using ChatGPT or Venice, and I like that image so much that I wish to wrap 100 near with that. So I do have the autonomy to do that via this component. So I go here, I will drag and drop that image or the file, and I'll pick my asset and the amount, and I can tokenize that with a watermark of DeFi shards. Now I have a tokenized asset. I can use that as a PFP, or once we build the DeFi component, I can use that to basically get one-sided USDC loans, like, since it contains the amount of Near fixed inside. So using the 100 Near as a collateral locked within the NFT, I can receive a certain percentage of that in terms of USDC and use that and pay it back later, like the usual DeFi stuff. The second component that we have is the marketplace on the top bar. So it's basically the marketplace page where we are going to buy and sell stuff. It's currently under maintenance. We are working on that. So we'll go to the next one, which is basically the launchpad page. Yes. So this is a proposed launchpad page. It still needs more designing. This is just a rough sketch of it, which displays the collection logo on the left-hand side, which is the proposed collection, the details of that. And this is where once a user is going to is going to mint an NFT, this is where they have to come. They have to connect their wallet, connect their Near wallet, and they have to come here, click mint. And you can see on the bottom right-hand corner, there's explanation of what is the percentage of asset that is locked within the NFT, what is the supply, and all the other stuff that is mentioned there, so that a user knows beforehand what they're getting into. And on the top bar, on the last section, we can see that there's an apply now corner. So this is specifically for creators. When somebody wants to drop a token back collection, we are in talks with many creators right now within ecosystem, outside the ecosystem, who are interested, because this is one of a kind project that exists in the entire space, and that's built on Near. So we're very proud to say that this is the platform or the project that uses the Near account model in a very native manner and leverages it to the max extent that we can. And we'll go to that in a minute. So I'm going to take you guys straight, without further ado, to NFT that we just minted and I was just talking about, is Shard Squares. So can we pull up the wallet? Yeah, so here we are on Meteor Wallet, and we'll go to the NFT tab. Yes, so we can see that there is a bunch of square-shaped collectibles, square-shaped NFTs that are gradient shaded. So this is like, I want to touch a bit upon the inspiration. So we are very huge fans of Mark Rothko's work. From the last century, and we wanted to make an interpretation of that, a digital interpretation of that, and gift it to the community, Near community members. This collection is entirely private, as I said, and every NFT that you see here is absolutely magical, because what I'm going to show next is going to blow everyone's mind. So can we just select on any of the NFT here, like zoom in on, yeah. So here we have an NFT, and we're going to pick the vault contract address, and we will pick that and paste it on Near blocks. And that's where we can see the transaction details. Let's go to Near blocks. Yeah, so we'll just paste the contract here. So as we can see that, just a second. Yes, so we can see that 27, just a second. 27, yeah. So we can see 3 Near on the board here. We can see that 3 Near is the locked asset. So what that means is, in order to create this NFT, most NFTs are already minted, like those are pre-minted on a singular contract in the broader Web3 space. So essentially people don't own their NFTs, because their NFTs are owned by the creator, and they are just given partial, access to that. So that is why the metadata can be, played around with if the creator chooses to do so. So there's no like complete autonomy. But with DeFi shards, what happens is each and every NFT is deployed as a contract in itself. What that does is it provides you more autonomy, more true ownership, which is what our focus is from the very beginning. And we can see that every user, when they mint an NFT, they have to pay 2 Near fixed amount, 2 Near as fixed amount for creating the contract, which is the standard fee on Near protocol. And 1 Near in this case is the actual asset amount that is backed. So in total, 3 Near, 2 Near for contract, 1 Near for the actual amount asset, which is backed inside. So let's say I want to redeem that. I can go to DeFi Shards platform and the website. I can pick this NFT, connect my wallet, and burn this NFT, this particular NFT. The contract vault gets destroyed, and the 3 Near is returned back to my wallet. So what that does is it enables me to hold this NFT as long as I want, without having to worry about the, like the volatility or there's going to be a volatility, but I am rest assured till the day Near protocol stays active and alive, my NFT is not going to zero, because the Near token price will eventually go up, considering the growth and the magnitude at which we are growing. So this is basically a rough idea. You can have dual assets as well inside. Let's say you can have BTC plus Near, you can have ETH plus Sol, you can have a combination of tokens. And the unique part about this vault is, since I said at the during the conversation that these contracts and the account model is so flexible. Let's say we partner up with some ecosystem dApp, for example, let's say Ref Finance, and they wish to drop some RIA tokens. So rather than dropping the RIA tokens to a user's wallet, they can directly airdrop it to a user's NFT. Like the airdrop can actually go within the NFT, and now this NFT in itself has more value locked inside. So there's no TVL within DeFi shards. All the TVL is within the NFTs framework, and that's the NFT staying within the user's wallet. So there's no localization of liquidity within the platform. And I think this is one of the primary plus point of our platform, even though we can have very high TVL being a DeFi application, but there's no chances of hack, because there's no way you can, we are already audited, but you can't break the platform, because every NFT stays in the user's wallet. So there's not a single way where you can, attack the complete platform and destroy the contracts and get access to all the liquidity that's locked inside. Maybe if that's like millions of dollars. So this is one of the primary problems that we had in mind, that we wanted to solve, a security problem, which is very prevalent in this space, because we've seen examples of people trying to do stuff like ERC 404, which was a hype thing, which was somewhat similar to what DeFi Shards is doing. But we knew that there was liquidity localization in a pool, and we were completely against the pool architecture. Like, we wanted to do it without AMMs. We wanted to make NFTs more liquid. And I think this is our interpretation of how we see as the future of tokenized NFTs and how they can, grow. And we are very happy to be building this on Near protocol. I think that's all I have to share about DeFi Shards. We're still building in process. And we just had this mint. We've sent it out to some people. They have written some feedback about it on Twitter. Do check out our socials. Do check out DeFi Shards Telegram chat. And we are pretty much excited to have questions. If somebody has, do drop in our Telegram, and you feel free to personally DM me as well. And looking forward to a visit near Town Hall again and share more updates in the coming future. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming, Dev Boss. Super interesting to see what you guys have been building, and I highly encourage anyone interested in this to check out DeFi Shards. Having a little bit issues with showing the last couple of slides here. Basically, just wanted to present a few news that have been pretty bullish around the Near ecosystem lately. Whatever, I can't get the slides up, so I'll just quickly walk you through the news. So since near.ai's alpha release, it has had more than 500 agents to launch on the platform, including more than 200 forks of existing agents and more than 2,000 agent iterations. I think that's super bullish to see. Very, very decent growth in platform usage and in the amount of agents. And I think we can expect for sure many more to come. Second, we have had our network launch a near mega issue, and I highly encourage everyone to go read it. It's a pretty extensive piece with a lot of great updates on the Near ecosystem, where it's at, and how it's going to power the next evolution of AI and crypto, and the specific stuff, how the Near blockchain itself is actually able to do this at a very, very large scale. Lastly, we've had a very great update come out yesterday with KyberSwap. So KyberSwap basically announced that it's been integrating with Near Intents, and what this means is that KyberSwap expands its aggregation capabilities beyond the EVM ecosystem. So it brings effortless cross-chain swaps into, which means you can instantly trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDC, USDT, Doge, Near, and many more without needing to bridge. And this gives deeper liquidity and better rates, which means that you can access liquidity from Ethereum, you can access liquidity from Bitcoin, Doge, Near, and a lot of other top chains for optimal pricing and low slippage. This enables you, KyberSwap, to deliver the best-in-class stable swap experience. It has faster finality, it has improved liquidity depth, and it also has optimized execution. Also, the trading is decentralized, so you can trade assets from non-EVM chains without giving up custody. And lastly, we have the KyberSwap solver for Near Intent. So this collaboration with between Near and KyberSwap goes beyond just integration. KyberSwap is now actively contributing to the Near ecosystem by developing a dedicated solver for the Near Intent framework to ensure maximum efficiency and reusability across kyberswap.com and beyond. So basically, this means that Near Intents, like the Near Intents framework, is really heating up by increasing liquidity depth, accessibility, and usability. And dear friends, this is just the beginning. Seamless trading for AI agents is getting unlocked. With Near Intents, agent builders now have a supercharged cross-chain, non-custodial liquidity platform that they can plug directly into. That was a long sentence. Thanks for watching today. I hope this town hall gives you all an idea of what is happening on Near. 2025 is the year of blockchain and AI. It's the year of user sovereignty. And as you can see, Near is full speed ahead, building an infrastructure and ecosystem for truly decentralized autonomous AI agents, powered by privacy, confidentiality, and a verification infrastructure that enables the birth of agentic commerce and hosting open monetizable powerful AI models. There's a clear vision and concrete steps towards achieving superior, truly open AI. And I believe we're witnessing the beginning of the AI and agentic era, the rise of $1 trillion industry, one which Near Protocol is at the forefront of. Projects can do things with Near that they're not able to do with other chains, as exemplified by a lot of Illia's agents that have been built, but also the shade agent concept presented by Kendall from Proximity. Super, super excited to see what's going to come next. So, dear friends, with a steady grind and elite execution, let's keep showing the world what the Near ecosystem is made of. Near Week is hosting these town halls every month, and as it is very important to us that these town halls are a platform for the community, please share if you have any feedback, and if your project wants to come on and show what you've been up to lately, please do not hesitate to hit us up. Keep up the good work, everyone. Keep working in the trenches and make sure to help each other out. We're extremely impressed by the Near community and the direction that we're heading in. Remember that none of what has just been presented and said should be construed as financial advice. As always, do your own research and subscribe to Near Week if you want to stay up to date on everything that moves Near Protocol. See you all next month. Bye, everyone.
Thanks for watching. Truly open AI is Near. Follow Near Protocol. Subscribe to Near Week.